Next level well-being, that's me. Getting down so y'all can see. Flow with divine all the time. Aloha. Good morning. So my ankle is still strained and cannot take the side pressures. So today I'm going to teach somatics. Is the reintegration of the nervous system into the body after, in this case, in particular, trauma. So a particular trauma to the body. And so we're going to need a bath towel or a Mexican blanket if you have one. And then a wall space. So find a nice comfortable spot, and I will read The 5 Afflictions Are So Fundamental from Light on Life by BKS Iyengar. The 5 afflictions are so fundamental to our lives and our ability to navigate the journey of yoga that I will recap them. Avidya, ignorance, lack of knowledge, lack of understanding, is the fundamental misapprehension of the material reality is more important than the spiritual one. It is not because all things material are transient, impermanent, and susceptible to constant change in the form of growth and decay. The problem is our dependence on what will not last. When Asmita expresses pride, it gets confused. Yet, it is an extraordinary gift of individuality with the experiences and material objects that the individual encounters in the course of life. Raga, attachment or desire, is an emotional bondage to any source of pleasure, manifesting in extreme forms as an inability to let go of anything, a sort of addiction to the furniture of life rather than a celebration of the joy of life itself. Dvesa, aversion, is an emotional repulsion and the flight from pain, manifesting as prejudice and hatred and making it impossible for us to learn from life's hardships and our own mistakes. Abhivinesa, fear of death, is an instinctive clinging to life which, though appropriate and at a biological level, causes perverted attitudes when transferred to aspects of life where it does not apply. Abhinavesa can be easily expressed if you overprolong the retention at the end of exhalation. Panic sets in. It is ignorance or the fundamental misapprehension of reality that underpins and feeds all the other afflictions. If you want to see the powers of the afflictions have over our lives and human history in general, just watch the evening news on television and identify these 5 destructive influences at work. That is easy. Then apply them to yourself. Okay, so hopefully everyone has found a nice comfortable position and coming to seat on your towel or blanket, folded, bringing the hands gently together in front of the heart center, pressing the palms and fingers evenly, open the chest, drop the shoulder blades down towards the hips. We'll start with 3 ohms, gently close the eyes, inhale. And gently releasing the hands, gently allowing the eyelids to float open. So these are going to be really gentle and very deliberate, tiny movements of contraction and release. So it's not that we draw the pubic bone towards the belly button and then draw the tailbone towards the floor. It's that we draw the pubic bone towards the belly button, allow it to fully release, and after that full release, draw the tailbone to the floor and then fully release there. So it's 2 different movements that are going to each side of the joint, and so it is resetting because as the nervous system contracts, the muscle is able to feel its full ability. So the contraction shows, the shortness, brings everything together, takes the strain off the muscle, and then as it releases, it feels more apt to let go because it's now integrated and not overstretched into a trauma pattern. Okay, so some of the signs of sensory motor amnesia are pain, ticklish, falling asleep, inability to repeat a movement, unsteadiness of the limbs, exhaustion, hunger, dizzy, nausea, headache, anger, agitation, confusion, boredom, checking out, relief, tears, elation, breath, bracing, retention, disturbed inhaling, disturbed exhale. So it's very interesting how the nervous system expresses to us the issues. So first we're going to remove our seat and roll onto our backs, bringing our feet to the floor, lifting the hips to reset, lifting the shoulder blades, rolling the shoulder heads to the back body, and then lifting the head to reset. Inhale fully. So this is our first practice. Draw the pubic bone up towards the belly button. Fully release the contraction. And as you come back into neutral, then drop the tailbone down towards the mat. Allow the tailbone to float back up to its normal position. And then in neutral, draw the pubic bone up towards the belly button and release. And drop the tailbone down towards the floor and release. And as we come back into neutral, let's look at our pelvic floor. So in between the legs, there's muscles that join to the pubic bone and to all the structures to support and make a little basket or web structure at this area. And what we want to do is draw it in to the middle and then up towards the spine. So it should be a contraction that eventually reaches the entire lumbar spine. So go ahead and give it a little contraction and then up. Okay, and then release and then try it again. So we're going to contract. Bring our pelvic floor in, and then bring the pubic bone towards the belly button, and release that contraction, but not the pelvic floor. And as you come to neutral, keeping your pelvic floor engaged or re-engaging, drop the tailbone down towards the floor, and release. Engaging the pelvic floor, bring the pubic bone up towards the belly button, and release. Pelvic floor, tailbone, down, allowing it to rise, rocking back to the pelvis. Alright. So that is just a great exercise in its own to do. So for the human X practice, let's grab our mats, bringing the short edge to the wall. Coming onto our backs, we have each foot against the wall. So first bringing the feet to the mat, lift the hips, reset, lift the shoulder heads, drop them to the back body, lift the head, bring the feet back to the wall, and arms up above the head. Pressing with the right foot into the wall and the left hand down to the mat, and then release, and then pressing with the left foot into the wall, right hand down to the mat, and release, Other side, right foot, left hand, press, release, left foot, right hand, press, release, right foot, left hand, press, release, left foot, right hand, press, release. I noticed that my back of my hands don't actually make it to the floor because my shoulders are so tight, especially with my new pelvic rotation. But that's okay. I'm still pressing what I can. So doing what you can. Alright. Left foot, right hand, press, release. Right foot, left hand, press, release. Other side, press, release, press, release. Oh, so left foot, right hand, press, release. Right foot, left hand, press, release. Left foot, right hand, press, release. Right foot, left hand, press, release. Alright, and then bring the hands down towards the hips, bring the feet to the mat, roll to the side, and you can stay where you are if you would like. I'm just going to rotate back around so it's easier to see me if you are trying to watch, which there's just not that much to see with such gentle movements, but in any case. Okay, hip hikes. So, on our backs, with our feet on the mat, lift the hips, lift the shoulders, drop the shoulder heads to the back body, lift the head. In between the hip and the ribs, we're contracting these muscles. So, on the left side and the right side. So, contract, drawing the left hip up towards the ribs, and release, allowing the left hip to come back down into its neutral position, contracting the right hip up towards the right ribs, and allowing the right hip to come down towards and into its neutral position. Left side, contract and release. Right side, contract and release. Now, engaging our pelvic floor. So drawing the pelvic floor from 6 directions. Back, forward, left and right, and then up, and then holding in that upper position. So that's where your dantian is. So you're holding it there. Okay. That's 5 directions with a hold. Okay, so left side contract and release. Right side contract and release. Left and release. Neutral. How's the pelvic floor? Re-engage. Right side and release. Left side and release. Right side and release. Now we'll roll onto our left side, bringing our left arm under the left ear, with our knees bent, our spine in a line, so trying to get the hips in line with the shoulders. Feet can be gently where they fall, as far as a nice gentle bend with about a 45-degree angle from the pelvis. This is the side curl. So bringing the right arm behind the head, contracting in between where we were just working the hip to the ribs, contract that area, and as I do, my head comes up slightly and my right foot comes up slightly, and release. So contract the side both directions towards the middle, And then release out evenly both directions to neutral. Contract and release. Contract and release. Contract and release. Alright, pelvic floor, engaging the pelvic floor, and contract and release. Contract and release. Contract and release. Now for the other side. Coming onto the right side, right arm under the right ear, lining up hips to shoulders. Bringing the left hand behind the head, and contract and release. Contract, release. Contract, release. Contract, release. Contract, release. Pelvic floor engagement. Contract, release. Contract, release. Contract, release. Contract, release. Contract, release. All right. Here we have the sunrise sunset twist. Our best to show. So, coming on to our backs, we have our knees bent with our feet on the floor. Arms come out in a T, so stretching the palms out from the heart center. Rolling to the left side. We bring our right hand to stack on top of the left hand. Knees are stacked, shoulders and hips in a line. Contracting the area between the shoulder blades. So the right shoulder blade to the spine, opening up the chest to bring the palm behind us. And release back to neutral. Inhale and contract just the area behind the shoulder blade to the spine and release. Contract, draw the shoulder blade towards the spine and open, release, feel the spine to the shoulder blade, releasing all the way back down. Again, contract just on the right side. Bring the shoulder blade towards the spine. And then release from the spine, allowing that area to expand. And again, contract, opening the chest, knees stay relatively to the side. And release from the spine to the shoulder. Alright, switching to the other side, coming back up, bringing our hips flat on the floor, feet flat on the floor. Open the arms from the chest. Drop the knees to the right side, bringing the left hand on top of the right hand. Hips in line with the shoulders, and contract the area behind the left shoulder blade, opening the left arm to the floor, and from the spine, release to the shoulder blade. Contract, bring the shoulder blade towards the spine, and from the spine, releasing all the way out. And again, contract, draw the shoulder blade in, and release from the spine. Feel all the micro movements that are releasing all the way to the edge of the shoulder blade. Again, edge of the shoulder blade, section by section, towards the spine. From the spine, section by section, towards the shoulder blade. Release. contract shoulder blade to the spine. Micro movements, release, spine to the shoulder blade, bit by bit to neutral. And we'll just do one more. Contracts, make it a good one. Get that area identified, and then from the spine back to the shoulder blade. And rolling onto the back, hips into the neutral position, feet on the floor. We'll do supine, arch and flatten exploration again. So feet flat on the floor, pressing into the feet, lift the hips to even them out, lift the shoulder heads and bring them back towards the back body, lift the head and allow it to go in a nice, comfortable, gentle position. Engage the pelvic floor, drawing from front to back to the middle, from side to the middle, and from the middle up. Alright, with the pelvic floor engaged, draw the pubic bone towards the belly button and release bit by bit from the belly button to the pubic bone, allowing the pubic bone back into neutral. Re-engaging the pelvic floor, dropping the tailbone down to the mat, pressing the tailbone and then releasing bit by bit up the tailbone, allowing this tailbone to float back up to its neutral position. Re-engage the pelvic floor, draw the pubic bone up to the belly button, and from the belly button, bit by bit, release the muscle tension and allow the pelvis back into neutral. Pelvic floor, tailbone to the ground, release, section by section, feeling, and pelvic floor, pubic bone to belly button, release, pelvic floor, tailbone to floor, release. Alright. With our feet on the floor, reset the hips, reset the shoulders, reset the head, and drop the right leg out to the right side. Contract. The adductors are the inside of the thigh to bring the foot back to flat on the floor. And then allow those muscles to release, dropping the knee out to the floor. Contract bit by bit, bringing the knee back up from this inner section. This is the adductors, are right in here. And so to drop the knee to the outer side, we're releasing those muscles. And then as we contract from the pelvic floor up the leg, we bring our knee back to neutral at the top. Let's try the other side. Dropping the left knee out to the side and then contracting bit by bit from the pelvic floor up the leg on the inner part of the leg, bringing our knee up and then allowing from the leg all the way down to the pelvis to release and then contract from the pelvis, drawing the knee up, focusing on our inner leg, bringing the knee back up, and then release those inner muscles, allowing the knee to fall back out. Contract, engage, allow, and bring each little section to bring the knee up. To engage our pelvic floor, go to the other side. So release. Pelvic floor is engaged, it's a little tighter. Okay, release the pelvic floor and then allow the leg to release. Contract the pelvic floor and draw the muscles of the adductors. So contracting the adductors bit by bit from the pelvic floor up to the knee. Release both. Contract the pelvic floor, bit by bit the adductors up into the knee being up. Okay, so release the pelvic floor and drop the left knee out. Contract the pelvic floor, bring the left knee up, using the adductors only bit by bit. Bringing the knee up. Release the pelvic floor, release the adductors, and pelvic floor engages. Draw the knee up, adductors, concentrating on that area bit by bit to bring the knee back up. Release the pelvic floor. Allow the adductors to release. Allow those muscles to soften and contract the pelvic floor, drawing the adductors in and up bit by bit to bring the knee back up. Alright, now we're doing the washcloth. So for this, we have a correlated movement. Bringing the feet to the floor of the mat, pressing through the feet. Let's reset the hips, lifting the hips up and bringing them to a nice neutral position. Lifting the shoulder heads up, bringing them back to the back body, and lifting the head and allowing it to come in a nice neutral position. Inhale, extend the arms out from heart center. And so here we will be dropping the knees to the left, contracting the hand down towards the knees, and opening the right hand up towards the head. So for the washcloth, this is a movement that switches. So as the knees move from the left side to the right side, the left hand rotates to face the head and the right hand rotates down to face the knees. And then back to the other side. So feel the muscles that are involved. This is a lot of muscles all at once all of a sudden, right? And then so the idea is that we contract into the position and then release those muscles to move into the position. So as we contract to the side, we release to neutral at the top. Then we contract to the other side and release our knees back up towards the ceiling. Contract to the left, bringing the knees back up by releasing those side muscles. Contract the right side to bring the knees down to the right, and then back up. Contract to the left, release all those muscles. Contract to the right, release all those muscles. Contract to the left, release those. Contract to the right, micro releases, feeling all the different sections. Contract to the left, release section by section. Contract to the right, release section by section. Okay, so engage the pelvic floor. Let's go. We'll go ahead and press our feet in, lift our hips, bring them to neutral. Lift our shoulders, drop them to neutral. Lift the head, drop it to neutral. Now that we've taken any tension that we might have accumulated going side to side back out of the spine, let's engage our pelvic floor. So bringing the pubic bone towards the center bone, or towards the center of the pelvic floor, bringing the tailbone up towards the center of the pelvic floor, bringing the right side to the center of the pelvic floor, left side to the center of the pelvic floor, drawing the pelvic floor up into the abdomen and holding with the dantian. Contracting to the left with the pelvic floor engaged. Left hand comes down, right thumb faces the knee. Right hand is up facing the head. Then release. Other side, contract to the right. Release. Re-engage the pelvic floor. Contract to the left. Release. Contract to the right. Release. contract to the left, release, contract to the right, and release. Awesome. Okay, so with our feet pressing into the wall, we'll lay on our backs, feet pressed into the wall, and then bringing the feet to the mat, lift the hips to reset, lift the shoulders to reset, lift the head to reset, bring the feet back to the wall. So pressing through the right foot, pressing the foot into the wall, press it into the mat, and release. Release from the mat, release from the wall. Pressing the left foot into the wall and into the mat. Release from the mat, release from the wall. So my feet are staying on the wall. It's the pressure that I'm applying into the wall that I'm releasing. So I press my right foot into the wall. So even though it's been touching, now it's being pressed into the wall and then pressed down towards the mat. Release from the mat, release from the wall. Press into the left foot into the wall, the left heel down into the mat. Release the left heel, release the left foot. Press the right foot, press the heel down. Release the heel, release the foot. Press the left foot, press the heel down. Release the left heel, release the left foot. Now let's engage our pelvic floor. Pelvic floor, front to back, into the middle, side to side, into the middle, middle into the dantian. Press the right foot into the wall, down to the mat, release from the mat, release from the wall. Press from the left foot into the wall, down to the mat, release from the mat, release from the wall. Re-engage the pelvic floor, press the right foot into the wall, into the mat, release from the mat, release from the wall. Left foot, let's re-engage the pelvic floor, press the left foot into the wall, into the mat. Release from the mat, release from the wall. Re-engage the pelvic floor, right foot into the wall, heel down, release the heel, release the foot. Re-engage the pelvic floor, left foot into the wall, heel down, release the heel, release the foot. Re-engage the pelvic floor, right foot into the wall, heel down, release the heel, release the foot. Re-engage the pelvic floor, left foot into the wall, heel down, release the heel, release the foot. Okay, so bringing our knees up to the ceiling, rolling to our side, pushing ourselves up into standing. We'll do the human X against the wall. Bringing the feet out a little wider than hips width. What do I have here? I've got windows. Lift your arms above your head and press the left foot down and towards the wall with the right hand pressing into the wall. And release. Right foot down and into the wall and left hand into the wall. Press those two and release. Left foot down, heel into the wall, right hand into the wall, press and release. Right foot down into the mat, heel to the wall, press the left hand to the wall and release. Left foot down into the mat, heel to the wall, right hand to the wall, press, release. Inhale, extend the head towards the ceiling and drop the tailbone down towards the floor. Raise your arms again. Release the tailbone towards the floor again. Press into the right foot. Heel to the wall. Press the left hand to the wall. And release both. Right hand to the wall. Left foot, left heel, press down and to the wall and release. So going back and forth between drop your hands and release, relax for a minute. So if I press my hand first and then I press my foot, it's going to create a different pattern than if I press my foot first and then my hand. So going from, feet first, because this is a nice base, and then to the hands. So then after you've done a few rounds with your feet pressing first, you can do the hand presses first and then the foot, and it will create a different release. So raising our hands again above the head, open up into our human X, and engage the pelvic floor, drop the tailbone towards the floor, allow the shoulder blades to slide towards the pelvis, lifting the fingers and pressing through the left hand, right foot down to the floor, heel to the wall, release. Engage the pelvic floor, right hand to the wall, left foot down, heel to the wall, and release. Okay? And so after this, let's go ahead and take a nice little Shavasana. So getting your towel if you'd like to put under your head, to create a nice little gentle slope through the neck. If you have tension, it's very helpful, but you want to make sure that the blanket only goes to the base of the head, the base of the occiput, and isn't on any of the cervical vertebra. So this can be nice. I'm gonna skip it today. So inhale, lift the shoulder heads off the mat, roll the shoulder blades towards the spine, and release the shoulder heads towards the back body. Lift the head, relax the face, relax the forehead, relax the nose, relax the mouth, relax the chin. Relax the front of the throat. Bring the feet to the mat, lift the hips, bring the hips to neutral, bring the feet back down, roll the shoulder heads to the back body again, release the toes, release the feet, release the ankles, release the calves, release the knees, release the thighs, release the hips, release the abdomen, release the back, release the chest, release the front of the throat. Take nice, deep, even breaths, gentle, deep breaths, not strain, and allowing the breath to come to neutral. Coming back, starting to wiggle the fingers and toes. Roll to the right side, bringing the right arm underneath the right ear, knees slightly bent, taking a few breaths here, allowing the liver and gallbladder to release, flush. With eyes closed, gently pressing up into a seated position, bringing the hands together at heart center, pressing gently and evenly through the fingers and palms. Allow the chest to open. Roll the shoulder heads to the back body. We'll close with one Om. Om. Thank you for joining me. I hope you liked it. Have a beautiful day.